Hey, happy Sunday, fam. Hope everyone here has had a great weekend so far. And we're looking like we got a pretty interesting week coming up here, so let's just dig right on into this thing. So as always, just going to start here with the economic calendar. As always, you can find this here at Market Watch, right? Come up to economy and click US economic calendar and you'll land here on this page. Looking pretty good here for Monday. Nothing scheduled. Coming into Tuesday, getting a little bit of data here now. Some PMI. And we got GDP here on Thursday, as well as our usual jobless claims. A couple other little data points here, but we have PCE on Friday. So we got a couple little data drops here coming throughout the week, and of course we have some earnings here now that earnings season is kicking back off, right? Seeing a lot of banks here reporting, but Tuesday here after the close we have Microsoft, and we've got Google, and of course our baby Snapchat right here. So let's see what those bring, right? We could see a lot of chop here Monday, maybe going into Tuesday, while we wait for some of these bigger names to drop their earnings, right? And Snapchat, not really a big name, but we do see that ad revenue type of company here and see what they report, right? And then Wednesday here we have Meta after the close, old Zuck. Definitely going to be a big one here, and of course one we've been watching very closely here at Predicted Trades. And we have Boeing here before the bell on Wednesday. Another decent one to keep an eye on for sure. Could move the market some. And Thursday we have Amazon after the bell. Another big one definitely to keep an eye on here as we go through the week. Right, we could see a lot of waiting here for these names on Tuesday, maybe some moves through Wednesday, and maybe another nice little pause or some chop going into this close on Thursday, waiting for Amazon to report. Definitely going to be an interesting week here. But let's jump into some charts. Definitely at some interesting levels here on ES. So first one I actually want to point out here on this top right chart is this daily Kellner chart, but aside from the study itself, just looking here at this overall H we've been putting in, right? We talk about the H all the time, and here on the daily, making a pretty decent one, right? We're getting back down here to this low of month, right? And cracking really through the lows already of September. Definitely at a very interesting spot here for the market. Definitely you need to see a nice little bounce here soon, or we could really start to drop here at around this psych level of 4,200, right? We're still a little bit above it, even on these lows here from the past couple weeks. So definitely got to be careful in this little zone between 4,200 and these lows here at these peaks. So again, as usual, right, we talk about this lowercase h all the time just in our day trading, right? But definitely getting it here on a larger time frame. So definitely have to keep an eye on this 4250-ish and this 4200, right? And so not surprised to see here that we're down to a daily squeeze bottom on ES right here at this 4250, right here at the base of this H, right? So definitely have to hold here if we're going to get a rally anytime soon. And also tucked in here, we have a weekly squeeze on ES, stacking on this daily. So we do have some good little levels of support here, but again, have to be really careful here, right? If we start to lose this zone, could really be some trouble here for mama market. But alright, let's move on here. And I guess here actually to the upside as well. Always got to call out some upside, right? We got this daily 200 above that we are now below, right? Major moving average here, followed by big banks and big institutions. So always keeping an eye here on what big money is keeping an eye on. And we have fallen below this daily 200. So again, maybe we see a little rally to come up and retest this daily 200. But ultimately, got to be careful with this downside. And maybe just reloading here some shorts to go back down and crack under this 4,200. But we got some good levels to work with here on the market. So just got to keep an eye on these things. Alright, an NQ here with a similar setup, of course, right? We always expecting these futures indices and all of our indices here to, in general, run together. Right, so we had made that little H here earlier this month, right at the beginning of the month, defended it, had a nice little rally back up, right, and tech was looking good there for a while, but totally rolling back over here, crashing below this psych level of 15,000 we've been talking about here for a while, and coming back down to retest these lows, right? Same situation as ES. We got a hold down here near these recent lows if we're to see a rally anytime soon. But NQ in a little bit better shape here than our other indices, still above that daily 200, right? This solid blue line right here coming up through this weekly squeeze bottom. And we are arriving here on NQ at this same daily squeeze bottom, right, that we saw on ES. So again, just looking for some support here. Hopefully this is the bottom, right, and we get a rally here soon. If not, you know, we definitely have a nice little bit to fall here. Some levels we haven't seen in quite a while. So yeah, really tough spot here for the market at this time. Small caps down to this key psych level of 1700, right, and crashing below here on Friday, down to this daily squeeze bottom. So again, just looking for some support here before we really fall off a cliff, right? Already cracking under these levels. So again, already not like heavily weighted and pulling ES, but sometimes gives us the nod first, you know, already losing these levels. ES could follow here along with NQ and YM. And running way below that daily 200. Been below it for a while now, so not surprised. Runny always kind of taking the beating here between the major indices. YM, of course, looking similar here to our other major indices, putting in that same H, right? And down to this key psych level of 33,000 is where we have the base of this H. So again, some good support here at a key psych level. We have this weekly and daily squeeze here. Let's see if we can hold at this level, right? And start to put in a bounce and start to work our way back up towards this daily mean. But again, we're at a very tricky spot here for all of our indices. Definitely have to hold here this week, right? Could really be testing these critical levels here this week. All right, jumping into some names here. Just gonna run through a couple quick, a couple of bigger names here, and we'll wrap this up. So Apple here, what we've been talking about, trying to get back up through this 180, and we are back down here to this key 173, 174 zone, right? We've been talking about this 173.5 here for a while, cracked back under it here. Try to get some support here right below it, but ultimately just kind of closing here near this 173.5 on Friday. But again, Apple here, our biggest name in the market, right? Always looking to Apple here as a gauge of just kind of general market direction, right? Typically where the market goes, Apple will as well, or vice versa. So again, coming back down to test these lower 170s, had a nice run up to this 180-ish, right? We're looking to crack back through this 180. But again, along with the rest of the market, just taking a nice little dive here and back below this daily mean. Apple definitely been stuck here in this little range for a bit. This 175 here has been super critical for Apple. And still just trying to hold, right? Still just trying to hold. Just going to take a quick look at some contracts here. And we got some calls here at Beast. Let's see what an upside thesis looks like from here. Almost down to this daily 200, coming up to this 170. Definitely going to keep liking this key psychological level of 170 as support, especially as this daily 200 creeps up in here. And this daily squeeze bottom, kind of thin here, but going to add some additional support at this 170. And just looking at this weekly chart, right, not really looking here at the study, right, at the Ichimoku cloud, but just looking at these weekly candles, got a really strong level here of 170 to continue to give us some support. And again, loving that we have this daily 200 creeping up right here. So if we can put in this higher low here on this daily, for example, right at this 170, could hopefully start to put in a little rally from this 170. But again, we have some calls at Beast right now. And a nice psychological strike here of 180 as well on the call side. Let's check this baby out. Close right in our zone here. So this is the 180 call. From the open, came down to our open range buy zone, accumulated here for a little bit. Like to see some price action like this right at our open range buy zone. Love that. Eventually the trail gets underneath it. We do eventually creep down here to Beast, but I do love to see this, right? Maybe we don't get an immediate pop, right? But I do like the accumulation we had here at our open range buy zone, and then a little move down to our main Beast zone, right? Again, we can see some more accumulation, right? Big money here, liking the entries here at about, just under 50 cents, and then coming down and maybe we get another nice little shelf of accumulation here. They have a nice average price here in the 30s, and then we make a move back up, right? Maybe to this previous day's open at about 80 cents. And again, we could see a little bit of chop here Monday and Tuesday as we wait for some of those bigger earnings to drop. So wouldn't mind seeing this 180 call at least just hold our Beast zone here tomorrow. And maybe we just see some accumulation here between 30 and 40 cents. And start to get to the move later in the week. Don't mind it, don't mind it. Right, and maybe that also just allows Apple to kind of creep down here to 170 over a couple of days, right, and something slow like this, and then we make the move later in the week off of 170. Could be a slow week, we'll see. AMD. AMD just stuck here between 100 and 110, right? Just can't get out of this 10-point range, really. Had a nice little dip here in the last couple of weeks, but right back up into this range. And kind of to some of our other names here, similar to some of our other names, this daily 200 creeping up right here. And we've got some smaller time frame squeezes. But again, liking this key psychological level of 100 as a great level of support, right? Just kind of slowly fading here into this 100. So again, maybe we see some slow moving tech here early in the week, and eventually we get a little rally end of week. Wouldn't mind seeing that off this 100 level here on AMD. Just a quick look at some contracts. We got some cheaper calls, a little bit out the money, lighting up at Beast. We'll give it a little time to unfold. Give her a little bit more time to settle, maybe right at that 100. Amazon. Amazon one here, playing along with the larger time frame H, right? Getting back down here to a daily squeeze that we had pop up right below this 125. So got to be careful here. We could see a move down to like this 120, right? Really smash into this weekly squeeze. Would kind of get us down a little bit deeper to this weekly shelf on the Ichimoku cloud as well if we got to 120. So we do have a little bit of an allowance here from this weekly Ichimoku cloud kind of creeping down. Could fall under this 125 and come down and really test these two larger time frame squeeze clouds below, and again would test the bottom of this kind of wonky H, right? We've got a bottom like here, and we've got a little bit of a bottom right here. So really need to hold like this 123, right? Just like our bigger indices here. Really have to hold the bottom of this H, or we could see a sizable move down. And again, just a quick look at some contracts here for Amazon. And again, Amazon, we have earnings Thursday after the close, right? So probably these contracts here are going to be a little bit pricier this week. Just looking at the fair value percentage here. Not too crazy just yet. A little bit under 80%. You know, you kind of start to see the weeks fade out a little bit. So not too wild. This might crank up here as the week unfolds, but and nothing really at B. So, you know, it could be a little bit higher than usual already. I mean, it should be, as earnings is this week, but not seeing anything at Beast either. So definitely propping up some premiums just a little bit on Amazon already. Google, been talking about it here for a while, right? One of our stronger tech names. Definitely has been trying really hard to hold up here and resist a lot of that downside from the market, right? NQ is, you know, down here in the colors, right? Fighting for the mean. Much deeper in the H, right? The lowercase h here on Google, I guess still could really unfold, but definitely resisted it here much better than other names, as well as much better than Q's itself, right? QQQ and NQ. So Google here down to the mean on Friday, right, and fighting to stay up here at this mean. Also have a couple lower time frame squeezes, trying to provide some support here near the mean as well. Let's see if we can hold up here on Google, right? Maybe stay above this daily 50 and above this key psychological level of 135, right? This daily 50 is coming up here to meet this key psychological level. Overall, let's see if we can hold here and maybe get back above this mean. Google looking pretty solid here though. Really nice channel up here on this weekly chart and continuing to hold it here for Google, right? Really riding the bottom of this trend line here now, but still hanging on. Oh, and getting down to this daily Ichimoku cloud could be a nice little spot here for a bounce at about 134 and some change. So something to keep an eye on here for sure. Which would be right at this daily 50. So yeah, some nice support here between this 134 and this 135, and even if we can get back above the mean, all of this will be some really nice support if tech starts to pop here this week. Zuck. Oh, and Google again, sorry, Google has earnings after the bell on Tuesday. So, you know what, let's go back real quick and look at those contracts, because they're likely going to be jacked up here a little bit. Not too wild here, I guess, 60%. Not sure usually what the week of looks like. But the following week's not too crazy below, right? Sometimes we see a really big gap between the earnings week and like the following week, and there's a little gap here, definitely bigger than the ones that preceded, but not too wild here. But again, like Amazon, not seeing anything lighting up here in our beast column, so I'm sure the premium's being propped up just a little bit to start the week. So again, just wanted to be careful for, or be careful with, since we do have earnings this week, right? Meta as well. Earnings here after the bell on Wednesday. But Meta, again, been one of those names we've been talking a lot about here, right? Been screaming it in the chat for a while. And doing really well here above 300, right? As long as Meta stays above this 300, really love Meta here to the upside, right? Obviously taking some heat here with the market, but again, overall has really resisted the overall downside that the rest of the market has been suffering through. And so just like Google, right, Meta, one of the few names up here, still hanging on to its daily mean. Right, daily mean again is this tan or cream colored solid line. So really love to see Meta here. We do have a weekly squeeze top, which we have rejected here again at this 330. Right, we had a previous peak up here at this like 326-ish. So again, a little bit of trouble here to crack through this 330-ish key psychological level. But again, overall holding on, right? We rejected it, had a couple days running back up, trying to get near it. Again, you know, overall market spilling over and Meta resisting as much as it can. But overall still looking really good here for Meta. But again, one of these names that has earnings this week. Here we go, a little bit of a bigger gap, almost at 100% here, with our following week being at about 72%. And not seeing any contracts here at Beast, right? So again, just got to be careful here this week, you know, especially with that premium crush that's going to come Thursday morning. You know, got to be careful playing this into earnings, right? These are some expensive contracts right now. Microsoft, another one that has earnings here this week. Microsoft reports Tuesday after the bell. We've got pretty much every squeeze cloud in here that you could ask for, right? At least our lower time frame ones. Let's see, up to a 4-hour. And we've got a weekly way above. No daily in between though. Okay. Microsoft, though, another one that's been here sideways for quite some time, right? Kept calling out this 310 level as we got back down to it, you know, after putting in a bigger time frame H, right? But ultimately held on to it, and we're starting to kind of get that W, right? Starting to spill over here a little bit, but if we can hold this daily mean or this daily 50, right? Hold these lower time frame squeezes, we get a good earnings on Tuesday, right? We could really punch in this W, right? Really punch in this W and go higher. You know, we came from about 367 and we're trying to hold this mean right now. So, you know, I really like the potential of Microsoft really ripping to the upside this week if they have good earnings. Do have a daily Ichimoku cloud here, which has been giving us a little bit of resistance, but again, you know, good earnings here on Tuesday, and we just explode through this thing. All right, which could be a nice little way to get through a decent Ichimoku shelf right here. Quick look at some contracts. And not too jacked up here on the percentage just yet. Kind of surprised since the earnings is earlier in the week on Tuesday. But not seeing any contracts here at Beast either. Right, and pretty far from Beast if anything. So looking pretty pricey here, but again, expected on an earnings week. But again, I'm going to keep it simple here, right? Always just looking for a good level to put on some risk. And we have it here between these major moving averages, you know, like this daily 21 and this daily 50. And these lower time frame squeezes, right? All of this kind of near a psych level of 325, you know, up through 330 here. Really like this little zone between 325 and 330, right? We can crack above it, we're playing some calls, crack below it, we're playing some puts. Just keep it simple. Netflix, nice recovery here this week with that earnings, right? Pumping this baby right back into play and recovering quite a few weeks of losses here, right? We do have a massive gap now here to the upside. Let's see if we can hold that gap up, right? Going to be crucial here in the upcoming days of Netflix. We're up to this daily 50, really nice target after that gap up and trying to hold it, right? So let's see if we can hold this daily 50 right at a key psychological level of 400, right? Massive psychological level here for Netflix. Need to hang on to this 400 and this daily 50, or we could just engulf this gap right back. So got to be really careful here if you're playing Netflix, right? But we have some clear levels to work with, especially this 400, right? Above this 400, play some calls. Below this 400, expect maybe a gap fill, right? And it could come with some steps, right? We have some major moving averages here. A move down to this daily 21, right? Could be a pause here, as well as this daily 200. They're going to probably be stacked on here kind of soon, depending on the price action that is coming here this week. But regardless, some good levels here to work with on Netflix. Quick look at some contracts. What do we got? And of course, after a big move up, expecting here some puts to light up in our beast columns. So let's see, maybe this 375 we'll take a quick look at. Gets us within that range, gets us to the daily 200. Kind of far out, so we didn't have beasts on it. Alright, we're going to give this one a little more time to unfold here, right? We're right at this 400. Need to see a move away from this 400, right? And then we'll just get in on a retest in that direction. Just got to keep it simple here. Just playing off of this 400 if you're going to play Netflix. NVIDIA. Giving us that similar look to AMD, right? Chips taking a little bit of a beating here, along with the rest of tech. Getting back down here to the base of this H, right? Here at about 409. We're at about 410 here on NVIDIA, so definitely have to hold here right at this level. If not, it's going to be a clear move down to this key psychological level of 400, and then bam, a weekly squeeze below here at about this 390, 380. So it could be a quick move down just all the way to this weekly squeeze bottom. So again, just keeping it simple here for NVIDIA, following along with the rest of tech, right? Just gotta hold the bottom of this H, right? If not, playing shorts to the downside. Keep it simple, right? Don't overthink it. Got some key levels here to work with, you know. Just draw that line in the sand and play from there. Quick look at some contracts. And we got some calls lighting up here. At about 440, this 435. Let's maybe check out this 440. Gets us back up to the daily mean. Okay. And no beast, still too far out. Alright, but we'll check it out again this week as we get beast here for some closer strikes. Qs. Alright, so rolling back here to our indices, right? Not going to spend too much time on this because, again, same thing as NQ, right? And so just going to quickly run through it, though, but just have to hold the bottom of this H, right? This is the major thing we're looking at here in the upcoming days, is holding these recent lows so that we don't have a more extensive fall off this cliff. We do have a solid psychological level here as well on QQQ at about 350, right? A little bit under here our recent lows, but just another major cycle level to hold on to if we do start to really press those lows. Quick look at some contracts for tomorrow. And we still have some strikes here to calculate, right? So again, you know, if you see some strikes tomorrow that maybe beast doesn't look right, it's because we've moved into some strikes that haven't had a lot of volume recently. So it is still calculating our levels. But we got some here on the put side. Call side still charging up, but it looks like this 358 here is at beast. Probably means the surrounding strikes are pretty much getting there, right? So it looks like we have some calls at beast much closer than puts, right? Pretty much none here on the put side. So let's see if we get a bounce here early in the session tomorrow. Would really like to see that here as we get near the bottom of these squeezes as well, right? And again, the bottom of this kind of wonky looking H. But again, it's the beginning of the week, right? You know, always best to just kind of let some price action unfold, you know, let those first 30, 45 minutes unfold and let it settle, and then we'll go from there. And again, SPY here similar to ES, right? Exactly like ES. Trying to hold this daily 200 here on SPY. And again, in these lower or these larger time frame squeezes here at about 420. And again, trying to hold the bottom of this H. Right? The plan is pretty much the same here amongst most of our names. Need to hold the bottom of this lowercase h. So let's just look at some contracts here for tomorrow. Expecting some calls to light up. Yes. And this 425. Let's see if we have it here with our tool from Friday. Hey. Okay, so this 425 call came down. We did have a little bit of accumulation here just right under our buy zone. And then another nice little fade to bring us down to our actual B zone. Ooh, and I like having this B zone right around a buck as well. A key psych level on any option contract. So yeah, I would definitely like to see a bounce here kind of out the gate, maybe get this 425 call back into play, right? Not let it keep fading here under our B zone, especially since it's a larger psychological strike. So I really like this 425 call going into tomorrow. Let's see Tuesday as well. Still got some calculating to do here on Tuesday, but we do have a couple calls here at B's for Tuesday. Nice, nice, nice. So yeah, I'm thinking we get probably a bounce here earlier in the sesh. You know, we have seen a lot of rotation at open, obviously, right? And just a lot of manipulation in those opening 30 minutes. So gotta be patient, right? As always. But overall, I hope we see, and I think we will see, a bounce in the first half of the session. But we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Alright, and last name here, Tesla. Nice little trip down to its daily 200. Got a weekly squeeze bottom here. Cracking under this daily squeeze bottom and firing it here on Friday. Let's see if we can hold above this 200 key psychological level, right? And we also have this daily 200 simple moving average. So some really good support here just above 200. Wouldn't be surprised if we ultimately hold right here. But definitely kind of shaky after these earnings here this past week. But again, like this psychological level of 200, let's see if Tesla would have started to base here or slowly kind of drift here near 200 for a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, and eventually start to climb back up here after maybe basing at this 200. But alright, y'all, that's all I got for you guys here this weekend. Again, major things we're looking at here this week are these earnings, right? Again, we have Microsoft, Google, and Snapchat here Tuesday after the close. We've got Meta after the close on Wednesday, Boeing before the open on Wednesday, and then Amazon Thursday after the close, right? Major things I'm looking at this week. A couple other, bigger ones too. Texas Instruments, definitely a big one for our chips here. Visa, obviously a bigger one as well. But again, looking at these couple mega caps here for some true market direction or true market shakeup, right? And then of course, we have GDP on Thursday, the usual jobless claims, and a little bit of other economic data around that. Alright, well, I hope everyone has a great rest of your Sunday. Anyone new to Predicted Trades here, you can join our Discord here for free via the link in the description of this video. As soon as you drop in, you'll have a ton of free resources available to you. If you're newer to trading options or newer to trading and just in general, we have a ton of free education, right? You can totally just pop in here, check out our education section here. Got a ton of information here in these couple channels. We have bots that drop stock news, that drop earnings news, right? So all the earnings I was talking about here, we have it all up to date here in our earnings channel. Same with stock news, right? Anything that moves the market usually lands here in this channel. And yeah, we post a lot of prep in here, everything just available to you as soon as you drop in here. And every Thursday we actually provide our Beast tool here for free. For you to try before you buy, right? You can check it out, maybe earn your subscription with us before ever paying us any money at all. That's ideally what we're trying to do here. So again, check us out. The link to join the Discord here is available in the description of this video. So definitely check us out. But alright, y'all. Much love, fam. I will catch y'all at the open tomorrow morning. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Later.